Okay, we're live. So, welcome to our cover reveal. I'm here with Heather B. Moore. If you don't know who I am, I'm Jessica. I'm taking over for Amy. So, if you see my face, know that we're going to do some giveaways. So, which we're going to do today. We've got a couple copies of Heather's newest release to give away. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about it, and then we'll show you guys the cover. So, did you want to share your inspiration, or do you want to share the synopsis of the story?
Yeah, I'll just kind of maybe what I'll do is I'll share kind of a little bit behind the scenes of writing the story. And then as you're showing the cover, I could read the synopsis.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay. So the interesting thing is I've actually really loved the story of Hannah for a long time. But there's just something that just kind of bugged me, like maybe it would bug all women and men, all parents, or even if you're an aunt and uncle, because you obviously love everyone in your family. But when she was, she is the first wife of Elkanah, and she was barren. And so when he actually had a choice whether he could divorce her or he could take a second wife. So he took a second wife. The second wife had children, and it wasn't just that she had children and made, Hannah would feel kind of bad or left out of the Lord's blessings anyway, is that the second wife is kind of nasty about it, and she would mock Hannah. And obviously she had her name is Peninnah, and she had an ego, and just was not a nice woman at that point in her life. So Hannah finally got to the point where she was begging and pleading and praying, and she talked to the high priest Eli, and he promised that she would conceive. But she felt like that in order for this blessing to come to pass, she also had to make her sacrifice. So she made a Nazirite vow, and she raised her son as a Nazirite, which has a lot of covenants with it. So I'm getting the point that kind of bugged me in the story is that why did she have to, so many women are blessed with children. Why did her blessing have to come with this, I guess, expectation or this huge sacrifice, and then I realized as I was really digging in, and maybe some of you are smarter than me, is because she was bringing a prophet into the world, and from his birth or from before his birth, he needed to be prepared and purified and live that vow. And so she probably would have never made that type of vow or that type of commitment, or ever sent him to the temple to live and to learn everything he needed to do to prepare himself to be a prophet. So it ended up being like good, but I also thought, how do I write this story and not have it depressing, but have it uplifting and something that we could relate to, right?
Right. Yes.
But I do have family members that have dealt with infertility, so I hadn't dealt with that myself personally, but I felt like I could kind of pull from some of those experiences and create Hannah's character, and also create her son Samuel's character as well. So it's not just about Hannah. We also have Samuel as a character in there. Well, once I decided that this story could be an uplifting story, then I felt a lot more excited to write it and to develop it. So anyway, if you guys have questions, you're welcome to ask questions. I probably won't answer them here just because of time, but I'll go back and answer them in the comments. But let's do the cover, and then I'll read the little synopsis we have.
I'm so excited for this cover, guys. It's beautiful. It's so pretty. All right, ready? Okay, there is our cover.
So tell us what you think too. I was excited. My publisher, they sent over several different images, and I was able to give my feedback and say kind of my top one. And originally, and this is interesting, some of you who understand design and graphic design, is she actually had kind of a pinkish shawl, and we all kind of felt like, well, I have a lot of books that have pink or purple in them. And so I thought, well, maybe they'll change it to blue or like a green, but when it came back yellow, I don't know. I just felt like this was a beautiful picture, and it ended up working out perfectly. So here we go. I'm just going to read a quick little byline here. So, journey back in time to the dusty roads of Shiloh and witness anew the story of Hannah and her son Samuel. Hannah is no longer a young woman. In the twilight of her life, she holds her memories close to her heart. Above all, she treasures the miracle of conceiving Samuel after years of barrenness and the promise she made to the Lord to release her child to the high priest Eli's care to train and serve in the temple. But Samuel's story does not end at the gates of the temple. Discover a sweeping historical account of Samuel's life as a prophet in the making and how his mother Hannah made impossible decisions guided by her deep and abiding love of God in this richly detailed adaptation of one of family's enduring legacy of faith, patience, and deliverance. So I'm going to give you a little hint is there is some romance in the book. Samuel becomes interested in someone that he may or may not decide to marry, but it kind of makes it a fun little addition, I guess, to the story because, Samuel did get married. We know he had sons. They're named in the book. So I thought that would be something I would also include in my story. So thank you for all the comments. I agree. She is a very lovely model and the kid is darling.
All right. So this comes out in June. So it's a little bit of a wait. But Heather actually does have another book that's coming out in April. Do you want to talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, so I have a nonfiction book coming out, and it's called Women Who Believe, and it's based on the Sermon on the Mount delivered by the Savior. And basically, Angela Eschler and I, who's my co-author, we wanted to kind of talk about the Beatitudes, but also talk about women in the scriptures and the examples they are of living those Beatitudes and how we can then apply all those special blessings to our lives as well. It's a shorter book. It has a lot of beautiful illustrations. So I am going to be very excited to actually hold it in my hands. I've seen the PDF and I love artwork. So I'm always excited about a cover or any illustrations as well.
I'm excited for it too. I'm excited for both of them. I can't wait to read them. So, all right. So we will leave this post up to give away the 2 copies for a couple of days. So I'll draw on Monday. So if you didn't get a chance to watch it live, you can still participate, comment, and that's how you'll be entered to win. And we're giving away 2 copies.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hosting, Jessica. And I hope everyone has a great weekend.
Yes, you guys have a good time. All right. Thanks for joining us.